The sky was falling apart. Dark clouds covered everything and endless rain crashed down over the dead planet. Once this world had been full of cities, lights, and voices. Now only water and silence remained. The ground was gone. Whole continents were buried under the rising sea. What was left of the sky turned red and black like the planet itself was bleeding. Through the storm, a small figure moved. A child. She was not human. Her skin was pale silver, almost glowing under the dark sky. Her eyes, bright and blue, looked too large for her small face. She walked slowly through the flood, her thin arms shaking, her legs weak from cold and hunger. Her name was Ari, though no one alive still called her that. Her people had escaped weeks ago when the storms began. Giant ships carried the rich and the strong to other stars, but the small, the weak, and the forgotten were left behind. Ari was one of them. She was only 8 years old. Now she was the last of her kind still on this dying world. Above her, through the thick clouds, a fleet of human ships prepared to leave orbit. The evacuation order had already been given. This world was no longer safe, too unstable, too far gone. In one of those ships sat Ranger Cole, a man who had spent his life following orders. He had fought in wars, survived on toxic planets, and seen what the universe did to those who disobeyed command. Cole was tired. Tired of losing people, tired of leaving worlds behind. But today, something in his chest refused to stay quiet. On his screen, a small blinking dot appeared, a heat signature moving alone through the storm. He zoomed in. Through the camera feed, he saw her, the alien girl walking through the flood, struggling to breathe. For a moment, he thought it was just a glitch. No one could still be alive down there. Then she stumbled, fell into the water, and didn't get up. Cole felt something sharp twist inside him. He opened his comm link. "Command, this is Ranger Cole. I've got movement on the surface. Possible survivor." A cold voice replied. "Negative, Ranger. All local life is classified non-human. Mission complete. Return to base immediately." Cole stared at the screen. "She's just a child." "Orders are clear," the voice snapped. "No deviations. The planet will collapse in 6 hours. Get off that rock." He looked again at the video feed, the small silver shape now floating in the water. She wasn't moving. Cole's hand hovered over the controls. For a long time, he didn't move. The ship's engines hummed softly beneath his boots. Then quietly, he muttered to himself, "To hell with orders." He slammed the controls forward. The shuttle broke through the clouds, plunging back toward the surface. The storm hit like a hammer. Lightning lit up the sky in white flashes. The wind screamed. His ship shook so hard it felt like it would tear apart. "Come on, baby," Cole whispered to the shuttle. "Hold together." Through the storm, he could see pieces of broken towers sticking out of the water, the remains of a great city now drowned. The girl had disappeared between them. Cole switched on the floodlights and swept the surface. "Where are you, kid?" Then he saw her, drifting between two broken buildings barely above the water. He pulled the ship down lower. The engines kicked waves across the flooded streets. Cole grabbed his helmet and jumped out into the storm. The water came up to his waist, freezing cold. His boots sank into the mud of what had once been a road. The wind threw rain into his face, sharp as knives. He pushed forward. "One step at a time. Hang on, kid. I'm coming for you," he shouted into the storm. The girl didn't answer. When he finally reached her, she was tangled in a piece of metal debris, half submerged. Her eyes were closed, her breathing shallow. Cole ripped the metal away, lifted her gently into his arms. She was light, too light, like holding a bundle of sticks. Hey, wake up," he said softly, shaking her shoulder. Her eyes opened, glowing faintly in the dark. She looked up at him, confused and afraid. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. "It's okay," Cole said. "I've got you." She blinked once, then faintly reached up and touched the side of his helmet. For a moment, he thought she was afraid. Then he realized she was thanking him. Cole looked up. The sky was breaking apart again. Another wave was coming. He turned, splashing through the flood, carrying her toward the shuttle. Behind him, the sea roared like an animal. He jumped inside, sealing the hatch just as the waves slammed against the hull. The ship rocked violently, alarms blaring. Cole strapped the girl into the co-pilot seat and hit the engine controls. They didn't respond. The storm had damaged the power core, damn it, he muttered. The girl looked at him, then reached out one trembling hand toward the console. Her fingertips glowed faintly blue. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, suddenly, the control lights flickered back to life. Cole stared. "You did that?" She didn't answer, but her small eyes looked calm now, steady. Outside, lightning flashed again, showing the drowned world below, the broken towers, the endless water, the fire in the sky. Cole took a deep breath, gripping the controls. "All right, kid," he said quietly. "Let's get the hell out of here." The shuttle lifted slowly through the storm, carrying them both, the human and the alien child, away from the dying planet that everyone else had already left behind. The storm did not stop. Rain crashed against the shuttle's metal skin as it rose through the thick clouds. The air outside burned red with fire and lightning. Inside, Ranger Cole's hands moved quickly across the controls, trying to keep the ship stable. The engines screamed, struggling to climb. Warning lights blinked red across the dashboard. The shuttle's power core was damaged. It could fail at any moment. Across from him, the alien girl sat silently. Water dripped from her silver hair. Her small hands clutched the seat straps tightly, but her glowing eyes never left him. Cole turned to her. "You okay, kid?" She didn't answer, but she nodded once, slowly. "Good," Cole muttered. "We're not safe yet." He looked at the radars, more storms ahead. The upper atmosphere was unstable. Every ship that tried to climb through it had either burned or vanished. Cole had seen soldiers die that way. He had promised himself never to go back to a dying world again, but here he was. Then his comm unit crackled. "Ranger Cole, respond. This is command." He froze. "Cole here," he said, his voice calm but tense. "Report your position," the voice ordered. "You broke formation. You were told to leave orbit an hour ago." Cole hesitated. "I found a survivor, a child. I'm bringing her in." A long silence followed. Then Command's voice came back, cold and sharp. "Survivor classified as non-human life form. You were given strict orders on no rescues, no contact. That planet is finished." Cole's jaw tightened. He looked at the girl beside him, weak, wet, and shivering, but alive. "She's just a kid," he said firmly. "I'm not leaving her to die." "Ranger, you are disobeying a direct order." The girl tilted her head, watching him. She didn't understand the words, but she felt the tension in his voice. Cole didn't reply. He just switched the comm off. He turned the shuttle away from orbit and back toward the surface. The storm swallowed them again. Lightning flashed across the sky, showing brief images of flooded cities below. Towers half buried in black water, lights flickering like dying stars. Cole's heart pounded. Every instinct told him to go up, to run, to save himself. But another voice, a quieter, deeper, told him he was doing the right thing. He had followed orders his entire life. He had left people behind before, soldiers, civilians, even friends, not this time. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the back of the shuttle. Alarm screamed. The ship began to spin. Cole grabbed the controls and forced it steady. "Come on, stay with me." He looked out the side window. Lightning had hit one of the wings. Smoke poured into the air. The girl gasped softly, clutching the seat. "It's okay, kid. I've got this," Cole said, forcing a smile. He pushed the throttle forward. The shuttle fought the wind, rising higher until they finally broke through the top of the storm. Above the clouds, the sky was black and silent. Stars shone faintly in the distance. Cole exhaled in relief. "See? Not so bad." The girl's glowing eyes blinked slowly. She reached out, pointing toward the stars. "Home," she whispered, her first word. Cole looked at her, surprised. "You can talk?" She nodded. Her voice was soft, like a whisper in the wind. "Home, gone." Cole's heart sank. He didn't know what to say. He looked at the stars, thousands of them, and wondered which one had been hers. Then his radar beeped. Multiple signals. Fast-moving. Cole frowned. "That's not good." He zoomed in. 3 drones were closing in. Black metal ships with human markings. Command had sent them after him. "Guess they didn't like me breaking the rules," he muttered. He activated the defense screen, but the system flickered. The power was still unstable. "Hold on tight," Cole said to the girl. The first drone fired. A red beam shot past the shuttle, missing by inches. The second one circled around, blocking his path. "Ranger Cole," came a metallic voice from the comm. "You are in violation of direct orders. Power down and prepare to be retrieved." Cole didn't answer. He pulled the ship into a dive, heading back into the clouds. The drones followed. Rain slammed against the windshield. Lightning flashed all around them. The shuttle twisted through the storm, shaking violently. "Come on," Cole shouted, fighting the controls. The girl pressed her small hands against the window, eyes glowing brighter. A faint light began to pulse around the ship, blue and soft. Outside, the lightning seemed to bend away from them, like the storm itself was protecting them. Cole stared. "You're doing that, aren't you?" The girl didn't answer, just kept her hands against the glass. For a moment, the drones lost track of them in the clouds. Cole took the chance to cut power and drift silently. Everything went quiet, only the sound of rain and their breathing. After a long moment, the radar went blank. The drones were gone. Cole leaned back, exhausted. He looked at the girl who was now half asleep in her seat. Her light had faded. He whispered softly, "Guess we're both in trouble now." Hours later, the storm began to calm. Cole guided the shuttle toward an island of broken rock, one of the few dry spots left on the planet. He landed there carefully. The engines hissed, then went silent. He unbuckled his harness and looked around. The sky above was glowing red from the planet's dying core. He sighed, running a hand through his wet hair. "All right, kid. We made it this far. Now let's figure out what's next." The girl was sleeping peacefully, holding her glowing pendant close to her chest. Cole looked out the window at the endless ocean surrounding them. In the distance, a faint blue light pulsed deep below the water. Something large, something alive. He frowned. "What the hell is that?" The wind outside picked up again. The planet was not done with them yet. Cole sat back in his seat, eyes on the horizon. He knew Command would not forgive him. He knew he had just become a fugitive, but he also knew one thing for sure. He wasn't going to abandon her. Not now. Not ever. The storm had finally grown quiet. The rain slowed to a soft hiss, and thick gray fog hung over the ocean. The world seemed to be holding its breath. Ranger Cole sat inside the small shuttle, staring out at the water that stretched endlessly in every direction. The surface shimmered with faint blue light, like something alive moved deep below. He rubbed his tired eyes. He hadn't slept in almost 2 days. His uniform was soaked, his body sore. But he didn't care about that. His thoughts were on the small figure resting in the co-pilot seat beside him. The alien child. Ari. She slept quietly, her skin pale and faintly glowing. Her breathing was shallow but calm. Her pendant, a small crystal around her neck, pulsed with a soft blue light every few seconds, like a heartbeat. Cole had seen many strange things in his career, but nothing like her. He opened the medical kit and took out a thermal blanket. Carefully, he placed it over her shoulders. "You're safe now," he whispered, though he wasn't sure she could hear him. For a moment, he just watched her sleep. The stormlight flickered across her face, making her look almost human. Almost. Then his comm unit crackled again. Static. Voices. "Ranger Cole, this is Command. You are ordered to surrender your vessel immediately. You have violated mission code 927. If you resist, you will be marked hostile." Cole clenched his jaw. He reached for the comm switch, but then stopped. He looked at Ari again. No, he wasn't giving her up. He turned off the comm completely and threw the headset onto the floor. Suddenly, a low rumble shook the shuttle. The water outside began to churn. Cole jumped to the window. What now? From the fog, shadows moved. Large, dark shapes gliding beneath the surface. The glowing blue light below flickered brighter, spreading in waves. It wasn't just one creature. There were many. Cole's heart pounded. We're not alone out here. He quickly activated the ship's defense system, or tried to. The panels flickered weakly. The ship was still too damaged. He grabbed his rifle, checking the charge. Guess it's just us, kid, he muttered. Then Ari stirred. Her eyes opened, bright and full of light. She sat up suddenly, breathing fast. Her small hands trembled. She looked toward the window, then back at Cole. Don't be scared, he said softly. It's just... Before he could finish, the shuttle shook violently. A huge dark fin broke through the surface outside, followed by a roar that shook the air. Water splashed across the window. Cole aimed the rifle toward the glass, though he knew it was useless against something that big. The girl stood up, pressing her glowing hand against the wall of the shuttle. Her pendant shone brighter, a deep ocean blue light. The roaring stopped. The water around them grew still again. Cole blinked, confused. "Did you do that?" Ari didn't answer. She just stared out at the water, whispering words he couldn't understand. Her voice was soft, musical, like a song. The glowing light beneath the ocean pulsed once, then slowly faded. The shadows sank back into the depths. The silence returned. Cole lowered his rifle. "Okay, that was new." Ari turned to him. Listen," she said quietly. "You mean those things?" She nodded. "They protect. The water listens, the planet listens." Cole frowned. "The planet listens?" She placed a hand on her chest. Heart, still beating, but dying. Cole sat down across from her. "You mean the planet's alive?" She nodded again, her eyes glowing softly. "Everything. Connected." She looked down, her voice trembling. "We broke it. My people. We made it sick." Cole leaned forward, trying to understand. "How?" She hesitated, searching for the right words. "Energy from the deep. We take too much, the heart floods, now it wants to sleep." He stared at her. Her simple words painted a picture that made sense. The floods, the storms, the planet tearing itself apart. Her people had drained something powerful from the core, something the planet needed to survive, and now it was dying, taking everything with it. Cole rubbed his face. "And they just left you here?" Tears formed in her glowing eyes. "They forget me. I small, not important." Cole's chest tightened. "You're a kid, not a mistake." She looked up at him. "You stay?" He nodded slowly. "Yeah, I stay." Another rumble echoed in the distance. The ocean glowed faintly again, but softer this time, like a heartbeat. Ari tilted her head. "Heart calling," she said. "It wants help." Cole frowned. "The planet's heart?" She nodded. "Yes, we must go there." He looked out the window. Nothing but endless water and storm. "You're saying you can fix this?" Her glowing pendant pulsed faster. "Maybe, but time small. Soon, all sink." Cole sighed deeply, then smiled faintly. "You really don't make things easy, do you, kid?" Ari didn't smile. She just looked out at the water, scared, but sure. Cole stood and checked the shuttle's systems again. The engines were weak, but still running. He looked at the map projection. Most of the land was gone, except one signal, deep in the ocean's center. The heart core. He turned to her. "All right, Ari. Let's go find your planet's heart." She nodded once. "Thank you, human." Cole grinned. "Name's Cole. Ranger Cole." "Cole," she repeated softly, testing the sound. For the first time, he saw a faint smile on her face. Outside, the ocean began to glow again, this time not in anger, but like it was guiding them. Cole gripped the controls and lifted the shuttle slowly into the fog. Whatever waited below, he didn't know. But he knew one thing for sure. This wasn't just a rescue anymore. It was something much bigger, and he was ready to see how far it would go. The shuttle moved through the thick fog like a ghost. Lightning flashed above, turning the gray sky white for a heartbeat. Below, endless waves rolled over what was once land. The ocean had swallowed everything: mountains, cities, even forests. Inside, Cole sat at the controls, eyes fixed on the map screen. A single glowing point blinked deep in the center of the planet. The heart core, as Ari called it. "Still there," he murmured. "But that's deep." Beside him, Ari sat quietly, wrapped in the thermal blanket. Her glowing pendant pulsed in rhythm with the shuttle's hum. "How far?" she asked softly. Cole glanced at the display. "A few 100 kilometers, but we'll need to go underwater for the last stretch." Ari's eyes glowed faintly brighter. "The water will open. It knows." Cole smiled a little. "Let's hope so, kid." As they flew lower, the fog began to thin. Cole could now see faint shapes under the surface, ruins, towers, and broken ships. Everything was quiet. Too quiet. Then the ship shook. A sharp jolt threw Cole forward. "Damn it," he shouted, grabbing the controls. The radar lit up with red warnings. Movement, fast and closing in. Ari turned to the window. "They come." "Who?" Cole demanded. Her voice was small. "The Watchers. Planet's defense. It thinks we heard it more." Out of the water, dark shapes burst upward, creatures made of metal and coral, with glowing eyes and long tails like serpents. They moved with terrifying speed, circling the shuttle. Cole pulled the ship up, but one of the creatures slammed into the hull, leaving a deep dent. The alarm screamed again. "Hold on," he yelled. He turned sharply, trying to shake them off. The engines groaned. Sparks flew from the control panel. The creatures weren't just attacking. They were driving the shuttle toward the water. Ari's hands began to glow. "Let me try." Cole glanced at her. "Try what?" She closed her eyes, whispering in her strange, melodic language. The pendant on her chest blazed like a small star. Outside, the creatures froze in place, their glowing eyes dimming. For a moment, the ocean became still again. Cole exhaled. "You did it again." But then the shuttle's sensor screamed. A massive reading appeared below them. Something enormous was rising from the depths. Cole's blood ran cold. "Oh, come on." The water exploded upward as a gigantic shape broke through, a creature the size of a building made of bone and glowing stone. Its head looked like a cracked mask, and its body was covered in burning blue lines. Ari gasped. "The Guardian. It protects the heart." "Well, it doesn't look friendly," Cole shouted. The Guardian opened its mouth, releasing a roar that shook the sky. Waves crashed into the shuttle. Cole gripped the controls, but the engine sputtered. "We can't outfly that thing." Ari stood, eyes glowing brighter than ever. "Don't fight. I talk." Before he could stop her, she walked to the front of the ship and placed both hands on the window. Her light spread across the glass, forming strange, glowing patterns. The Guardian slowed. Its roar faded into a low rumble. It leaned closer, one huge eye staring directly at her. Cole held his breath. Ari whispered softly. The blue glow from her body pulsed with the same rhythm as the creature's markings. The Guardian tilted its head, then slowly sank back into the water. The waves calmed. Ari turned to Cole, her small face pale and tired. "It listens now." "We can go." Cole just stared at her. "You're full of surprises, kid." She smiled faintly. "Planet remembers me." He frowned. "What do you mean?" She looked down. "I was born in the deep. Heart made me to heal. My people use my power to take." Cole's eyes widened. "You mean you're connected to the planet itself?" Ari nodded slowly. "Yes, I am part of it." Cole leaned back in his seat, stunned. It made sense now. The glowing skin, her link to the ocean, the way the creatures listened. She wasn't just an alien child. She was the living key to the planet's life force. He looked at her again. "Then saving you wasn't just about saving one kid, was it?" Ari shook her head. "No, save me. Save world." Before Cole could answer, the ship lurched again, but another quake. The ocean below began to spin, forming a massive whirlpool. Ari's pendant flared. The heart called stronger. "We must go down now." Cole took a deep breath. "All right, hold on. Let's dive." He pushed the controls forward. The shuttle tilted and dove straight into the spinning vortex. Water slammed against the hull, the sound like thunder. Lights flickered. The engine screamed. Outside, everything turned dark blue, deeper and deeper. Cole squinted through the window. Strange glowing shapes floated past, massive roots, crystals, and rivers of light that moved like veins. The deeper they went, the quieter it became. Ari pressed her hand to the glass again. "Almost there," Cole nodded. "Let's hope your planet's happy to see us." Then through the darkness, a faint light appeared below, bright, pure. and alive. The heart core. It looked like a giant sphere of blue fire surrounded by twisting metal and rock. Streams of energy pulsed out of it like breath. But around it, the world was breaking apart. Cracks spread like lightning through the walls of the deep cavern. Lava and gas escaped in bursts. Cole stared. That thing's going to blow. Ari's eyes glowed brighter. We can stop it, together. He looked at her, then at the heart, then nodded. All right, kid. Let's do it. Outside, the planet groaned, and a sound like thunder and sorrow. The heart was alive. And it was angry. The ocean swallowed the shuttle whole. Darkness pressed in from all sides. Only the faint blue glow from the ship's lights and Ares' pendant cut through the deep black water. Ranger Cole kept his hands tight on the controls. The deeper they went, the stronger the pressure grew. The metal hull groaned and cracked under the weight. Ari sat beside him, silent, her glowing eyes fixed on the darkness ahead. The heart is close, she whispered. Cole nodded, checking the map. A few kilometers down. We're almost there. Then the radar beeped. Cole frowned. Wait, what's that? More signals appeared on the screen. Not creatures this time. Machines. Ari looked at him. They come again? Cole's stomach tightened. Not your planet's creatures, ours. From above, faint red lights appeared in the water and moving fast. Command drones. They had tracked him down. Cole cursed under his breath. They won't stop until they destroy this ship. Ari tilted her head. Why they chase you? He gave a bitter laugh. Because I didn't follow orders. Because I chose you, her eyes softened. You choose right. The radar flashed again. The drones were closing in. Sleek metal predators cutting through the water. Cole pushed the engines to full power. The shuttle shot forward, diving deeper. The first drone fired. A red beam sliced through the dark, missing the ship by inches. The water around them boiled. Cole shouted, "Hold on!" He spun the shuttle hard to the right, dodging another blast. The entire cabin shook. Panels fell from the ceiling. Ari gripped the seat. They hurt the heart if they shoot. Cole's jaw clenched. Then we don't let them. He flipped a switch. The ship's rear cannons hummed to life. Come on, baby, he muttered. Don't fail me now, he fired. A burst of plasma streaked through the dark, hitting one of the drones dead on. It exploded into a red cloud of metal and bubbles. The shockwave rocked the shuttle. Cole smiled grimly. One down, but 3 more appeared out of the darkness, glowing like angry eyes. Great, he muttered. Of course there's more. The drones spread out, surrounding them. Ari closed her eyes. They not understand. The heart wants peace. Yeah, Cole said, but Command doesn't believe in peace. The drones fired again. One shot hit the side of the shuttle, tearing through a wing. Cole fought the controls. We're losing altitude. Water rushed in from a small crack near the floor. Ari looked at it, then pressed her hand against the metal. Her skin glowed bright, sealing the crack with a thin layer of blue crystal. Cole blinked. You just fixed that? Ari gave a tired smile. Planet helps me. The radar beeped again, and more drones coming. 10, 20, maybe more. Cole's breath came fast. There's no way we can fight all of them. He turned toward Ari. Kid, you said the heart listens, right? She nodded slowly. Yes, it listens. To love, to pain, to truth. He sighed. All right, then listen to me. I need it to listen fast. Ari placed both hands on her pendant. It flared like a small star. The water around them began to shimmer, and strange blue light spread from the ship in every direction. The drones slowed, confused. Their targeting systems flickered. Then the ocean itself began to move. From the depths, massive shapes rose, glowing serpents, crystal fish, and ancient creatures made of stone and coral. They surrounded the shuttle, forming a living shield. Cole stared in disbelief. You called them, Ari nodded weakly. They protect heart. The drones opened fire again, but their shots were absorbed by the creatures' glowing bodies. The ocean lit up with color, red explosions, blue light, green flashes of energy. It was chaos, but it was beautiful. Cole used the distraction to dive deeper, heading straight toward the heart core. The map showed they were only a few hundred meters away now. The deeper they went, the brighter the light became, a pulsing blue glow filling the dark water. Ari's pendant matched the rhythm, beating like a second heart. Then a voice crackled through the calm, cold and sharp. Ranger Cole, stand down. You are jeopardizing the mission and human command authority. Surrender immediately. Cole clenched his fists. You've got to be kidding me. This is your final warning, the voice continued. Destroy the alien. You are protecting a planetary threat. Cole looked at Ari, exhausted, pale, but full of light and hope. He reached over, switched the comm off, and said quietly, They can go to hell. Ari looked confused. You fight your own people? He nodded. If they've forgotten what being human means. Yeah. She looked at him for a long moment, then smiled softly. You good human, Cole chuckled. Don't tell Command that. The ship finally broke through into an enormous glowing cavern. The heart core floated in the center, surrounded by giant crystal pillars. Streams of light flowed around it like rivers of energy. It was beautiful and terrifying. Cracks split across its surface, leaking blue fire. Cole whispered, That's it, the planet's heart. Ari stood, her light growing stronger. It hurts. I can feel it, she turned to him. I must go to it, Cole frowned. It's dangerous. You'll die, she shook her head. If I don't go, everything dies. The shuttle rocked again. Another drone had followed them through. Cole grabbed his rifle. Go, he said firmly. Do what you have to. I'll handle this. Ari looked at him, eyes full of trust. You stay? Always, he said. As she stepped toward the exit hatch, Cole turned to face the oncoming drone. Its red sensors locked on him. He raised the rifle, his voice steady. You're not taking her. The cavern shook as the battle began again. Man against machine, light against darkness, and a dying world waiting for salvation. The heart core pulsed like a giant living sun beneath the water. Streams of glowing energy swirled around it, rising like smoke in slow motion. The cavern walls trembled, sending waves of bubbles through the dark blue water. Cole stood inside the damaged shuttle, gripping his rifle. One last drone floated in front of him, its red light blinking like a heartbeat. The metal beast scanned the area, locking onto him again. Come on, then, Cole muttered. The drone fired. A red beam sliced through the water. Cole jumped aside, the blast grazing his armor and burning his shoulder. Pain shot through him, but he stayed standing. He raised his weapon and fired back. The plasma bolt hit the drone's left wing, tearing it off. It spun wildly, crashing into a crystal pillar. The explosion shook the entire chamber. Cole fell against the control panel, breathing hard. That's one problem solved, but another sound made him turn. A faint, high-pitched hum. Ari. She had left the ship. Through the glass, Cole could see her swimming toward the heart core, glowing brighter with each passing second. Her hair floated around her like a silver halo, and her pendant shone like a starburst. The heart's glow answered her. Streams of blue light stretched out like arms, wrapping gently around her body. Cole shouted through the comm, Ari, what are you doing? Her voice came softly, full of calm. I'm going home. The light grew stronger. The heart's cracks began to close, piece by piece. The broken world was healing, but Cole saw something else. Ari's small figure was fading. No, he whispered. No, no, no! He opened the hatch, ignoring the alarms, and swam out into the freezing water. The pressure pressed against his armor like 1,000 knives, but he kept going. Ari, he shouted again, bubbles streaming from his helmet. You can't do this. Her voice echoed in his mind, not through sound, but through the strange energy that surrounded them. It's the only way, she said gently. The heart is part of me. If I give myself back, it will live again. Cole shook his head, fighting the current. You don't have to die to save it. She smiled sadly. It's not death. It's going home. The heart flared. The whole cavern exploded in light. Cole shielded his eyes. Around him, the water shimmered with thousands of tiny glowing particles. Memories, whispers, and ancient songs. He saw flashes. Ari's people long ago, living in harmony with the planet. They grew proud, hungry for power, and used the heart's energy for war. The planet began to die, turning against its creators. The heart made one last choice. It created her, a child born from light, carrying the power to heal. But her people used her too. When the floods came, they left her behind. Cole's chest tightened. You were never a weapon. You were hope. The images faded. Now Ari floated in front of the heart core, arms outstretched, her body glowing brighter than ever. She looked back at him one last time. Thank you, she whispered, for showing me what kindness means. Then she pressed her hands against the heart, A blinding explosion of light filled the cavern. Cole was thrown back, spinning through the water. He hit the ship hard. The world went white. When he opened his eyes again, the shaking had stopped. The light dimmed to a calm blue glow. The cracks on the heart were gone. It pulsed slowly and alive again. Cole looked around desperately. Ari? No answer. He swam out, searching every corner of the glowing chamber. There was no sign of her, only silence. Then, from the center of the heart, a faint light drifted out in a small, glowing pendant. Her pendant. Cole reached out and caught it gently. It was warm. He closed his eyes. You did it, kid. The comm unit on his suit crackled. This is Command Unit 07, Ranger Cole, respond. The planet's readings are stabilizing. Report immediately. Cole didn't reply. He looked up at the glowing heart core. The ocean around him was alive again. Plants growing. Currents flowing, light returning, the planet was breathing. He whispered quietly, She saved your world, not us. Don't ever forget that. He swam back to the shuttle, holding the pendant tightly in his hand. When the ship reached the surface hours later, the sky was clear. For the first time, sunlight touched the waves. The storm had ended. Cole stood by the open hatch, looking at the endless ocean. In the distance, the sun reflected off the water like 1,000 diamonds. He lifted the pendant to his chest. Rest easy, Ari. You're part of this world again. The pendant glowed faintly as if answering him. A heartbeat, one last time. Cole smiled. Guess I'm not alone after all. He turned the ship toward the horizon. Let's go home. Far beneath the waves, the heart core pulsed softly. The ocean glowed blue in every direction, and deep inside that light, a small voice whispered, carried by the current. I remember you, Cole. The shuttle cut through the morning sky, rising above the ocean that had almost become its grave. Below, the waves sparkled under the sunlight, calm and blue. The storm clouds were gone. The world that once screamed in pain was finally at peace. Cole sat in the pilot's seat, staring out the window. His armor was scorched, his hands bruised, and his heart heavy. Around his neck hung Ari's glowing pendant. The last piece of her he had left. Every few seconds it pulsed faintly, like a quiet heartbeat. She did it, he whispered. The planet's alive again. The comm unit crackled. Ranger Cole, this is command. You are ordered to land immediately for debriefing. You have violated multiple protocols and engaged enemy technology without authorization. Cole didn't answer right away. He looked down at the pendant, then sighed. Yeah, he muttered. I broke a lot of rules. He turned the ship toward the nearest command base. Time to face them. The outpost was a dull metal fortress standing above the water, gray, cold, and surrounded by drones. As his ship landed, soldiers in armored suits surrounded it. Cole opened the hatch and stepped out slowly, hands raised. The ocean breeze hit his face. It didn't smell like smoke anymore. It smelled like life. Ranger Cole, the officer said through a speaker. You are under arrest for treason, disobedience, and destruction of military property. Cole smirked tiredly. Yeah, sounds about right. 2 guards grabbed his arms and led him inside. The hallways were sterile and silent. Lights flickered overhead. They brought him into a large room. The command council. 3 officers sat behind glass panels, faces hard and cold. Cole, said the middle one, a gray-haired man with sharp eyes. You disobeyed a direct order to terminate the alien. You risked human lives. Explain yourself. Cole looked at them, calm. She wasn't the enemy. The officer frowned. She was a planetary weapon. Her presence caused the storm that destroyed our base. Cole shook his head. No, the storm was the planet's pain. She was trying to stop it. The officer slammed a hand on the table. You expect us to believe that? Cole reached for the pendant around his neck and held it up. The blue light reflected off the metal walls. She healed the world. Look outside. The oceans are calm. The air is clean again. She saved everything, including you. For a moment, the room went silent. The officers exchanged uneasy glances. Finally, the gray-haired commander spoke quietly. And where is this alien girl now? Cole's voice softened. Gone. She gave herself to the planet. She became part of it. He looked down, his jaw tight. She trusted me, more than anyone ever did, the council whispered among themselves. Then the commander leaned forward. Your actions violated every code we follow, Ranger, but your report aligns with new planetary readings. The world is healing faster than we imagined. He paused. We should destroy your ship and lock you away. But perhaps this story deserves to be known. Cole raised an eyebrow. You're not putting me in prison? The commander gave a thin smile. You're not free either. You're reassigned to environmental recovery. You'll monitor the planet from orbit. Cole nodded slowly. I can live with that. As he turned to leave, the commander added, Ranger Cole. What was her name? Cole stopped at the door. He touched the pendant. Ari, then he walked away. Weeks passed. Cole sat alone in a small observation station orbiting the planet. Through the window he could see the blue world turning slowly, alive, glowing faintly with light under its oceans. He spent his days recording data, sending reports, and watching the reborn seas. The silence didn't bother him anymore. Sometimes at night he held the pendant and spoke softly. You'd like it now, kid. The stars look peaceful again. One evening, as he watched a new sunrise spread across the horizon, the pendant flickered. Cole frowned. That's new. It pulsed again, and brighter this time. Then a voice echoed in his head, soft as the tide. Hello, Cole. He froze. His heart jumped. Ari? The light from the pendant spread, forming a small glowing figure in front of him. A hologram made of pure energy. It was her, smiling, peaceful, eyes full of light. Cole blinked, speechless. You're alive? Ari tilted her head. Part of me. The heart keeps me safe. I wanted to see you. Cole laughed softly, his eyes wet. You scared me, kid. I thought I lost you for good, she smiled. You never lost me. You saved me. And the world. He reached out, his hand passing through the light. So and what now? Ari looked toward the window at the planet below. Now we heal it, together. The pendant glowed brighter. The console lit up with new readings. Oceans regrowing, atmosphere clearing, life returning. Cole sat back, grinning. Guess I've got a new partner then. Ari's voice was warm. Always, Ranger. Outside the station, the planet shone like a jewel, calm, blue, and alive once more. And as the stars reflected off the water, two small lights blinked in unison, one in orbit and one deep beneath.